that crosses both instruction and education and is a sign of our non-stagnation in at least some areas, and that's the area of data science. And I was struck by some news that we got out of Hilo. I had actually never heard of the Fannie and John Hertz Foundation, but it's one of the most prestigious fellowships available for graduating seniors. And this year we have a student who is a candidate for this. There's 41 across the country, and the other schools tend to be Harvard, 5 or 6, Caltech, 5 or 6, Berkeley, 5 or 6, MIT, 5 or 6, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, Johns Hopkins, etc. You get the feeling for what caliber of students. And our successful finalist for this is from Hilo. And she is a student, it's Rebecca Loving. She's from a rural area, large family, Native Hawaiian, and her area is computational biology. And this really hits at our emphasis across the system over the past several years in the area of data sciences and visualization. This has been spearheaded, much of it through our statewide National Science Foundation EBSCOR project. Many of you have seen our Cyber Canoe program. That's been part of our initiative. It reaches into the Academy for Creative Media, but it's also across our sciences, and it's one of the ways we're pushing out nationally and into the Asia Pacific. And we've also had great success. Chancellor Benham, in talking about her other program that's up today, introduced to you at committee the first Native Hawaiian PhD graduate, we think, in the country in applied math. So this is part of our push to move forward into new areas, and we're doing it across the system. And I think Rebecca's recognition at Hilo, and I look forward to meeting her one day, is really quite remarkable. The fellowship can be worth up to $250,000 for a full ride through a PhD program if she is successful. But she has already been accepted at Caltech, Harvard, Columbia, Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, Brown, and Johns Hopkins. So I think she'll be okay either way. To follow on our meeting last month, we deferred the tuition proposal after a conversation of over an hour with the full Board of Regents. And just to be clear with everyone, we are not bringing, obviously, a new tuition proposal forward this month. When we reassessed after the meeting, we realized it was really too late to be changing the tuition for 2019. That is the fall semester that starts just in about 6 months. As a result, we will be keeping to the published tuition rates, which have been established in 2015. Those will stay in place for the next academic year. We have no formal tuition schedule set now for the following academic year. That is 2020-21. That is after the end of the current schedule. If no action is taken, just to be clear, tuition stays exactly the same as it is in the prior year. However, it is our intention to bring something to the board in this April that would address both objectives in some fashion that we had hoped to address with the proposal we brought you last month, both affordability for resident students and competitiveness for non-resident and graduate, particularly graduate students. We will probably look at affordability perhaps more holistically than just through the tuition schedule, including through consideration of our financial aid policies and how we provide support for students who need help the most. In that regard, I'm happy to report some improvement in our enrollment numbers. We have a census date that was February 8th, I think, so just a couple weeks ago. This semester, when we compare spring over spring in headcount enrollment, both Manoa is up and Kauai Community College are up. The others are not this spring over spring. But that's good news. We started turning it around a campus at a time. And even better news, I have mentioned previously that both UH Manoa and UH Hilo are working with a professional consulting firm on how to help us grow our enrollment. And this is the first year in which we're actively engaged with them. This company is called EAB, and they purchased a company called Royal, which was really the market leader in higher education. As of today, our Manoa applications for freshmen for next fall are up 70%. That's day over day as compared to last year. And really interestingly, because this is where they've helped us most, our out-of-state applications are up 160% over last year. UH Hilo is experiencing pretty similar numbers in terms of total number of increased applications. And when we went into this, we thought we would start with 2 campuses, and I know UH West Oʻahu is also talking with them about getting some help. And what they do is they help you strategically decide who locally and nationally you should be targeting with stronger messaging and recruitment to try to get them to apply. We have lots of room for positive growth, and I think we're starting to see it now. I had also commented at our last meeting about our concerns over the partial government shutdown. So happily, we seem to have avoided another shutdown at this point. Other things in play, of course. But our hopes have certainly come true in terms of the immediate rebound. So we lost about 35 days of awards, and we began to see a decline in our increase over last year, but we are now over $300 million for the year. That's about almost 20% up again year over year compared to this day last year. Manoa is about 2/3 of that, and Manoa is also substantially increased as well. It's a little over 220 million of that 303 million. So we're seeing a good rebound on that. One of our key indicators, which is also really helpful, that's what generates the RTRF that we talk about a lot, and that's what enables us to make strategic investments in research that really matters for Hawaii. I'll just mention 3 more things. I wanted to highlight the work of our faculty at UH West Oʻahu and UH Hilo in working with Hawaiian Airlines on their new language program. Last month, I showed you a video also from UH Hilo where we are engaging students in naming new galactic discoveries, giving them Hawaiian names, which personally I found to be one of the coolest news announcements of the year for us. Leilani Basham from UH West Oʻahu and Larry Kimura from UH Hilo have been helping Hawaiian Airlines, which is now beginning to certify Hawaiian language speakers on their flights. And this is part of the broader agenda, which really cannot succeed without UH to normalize the Hawaiian language. As I think everyone knows, in our Constitution, we have 2 official languages, English and Hawaiian, and we have a long way to go before they appear to be on a par. And you can think about, those of you who have ever visited Quebec, to think about what it really means to have 2 official languages. Since we're here at Maui College, which will certainly be our first net zero campus within the UH system, and as far as I can tell, will very likely be the first net zero college campus in the country, that really hits us on the supply side, the work that's going on here, and you probably saw the solar panels, and we will also have a large battery installation. We're also doing a lot of work on the demand side, and last week we celebrated the initial implementation of modern Internet of Things energy metering and data analysis service. So that helps us on the demand side, and as they say, the cheapest kilowatt is the one that you don't use. So if we can understand our usage patterns better, this will really help. And what is great about this project is this is a startup that's supported by Elemental Accelerator, which is the old Energy Accelerator, which is a Hawaii-based program. They are supporting a startup. One of their portfolio companies is doing this energy management system, and Elemental Accelerator actually funded them to use us as a demonstration so that when they're going out into the marketplace, they can show their deployment at the University of Hawaii. So we get a deal, the company gets a great demonstration site, and the environment all benefits. So it's a very cool system, and maybe when we have our next sustainability update, we can demonstrate to you how that looks. Lastly, let me mention, and probably not for the last time, John Morton is here, and last week I shared with you his announcement of his retirement. We will be saddened but celebrating regularly from now until June 1st. So more to come on that, but he's made amazing contributions to this entire system for just about 49 years now. So with that, over to Louie and our host campus.